Hey, what's up? I'm back, and I'm here to report on a little bit of Canadian news. Not much we hear about Canada, except that after Trump was elected, Amy Schumer and a bunch of other really talented celebrities moved up to Canada because they didn't want to live in America anymore, which I totally respect, and I would have done if I had the money. But I'm going to talk to you about a little bit of political news in Canada because they're much more progressive than we are, clearly. So the Canadians have been investigating sexual assault and sexual harassment allegations against this MP, which is like their statesman. His name's Mike Weir from Saskatoon. And so anyway, he was found guilty of sexual harassment and sexual assault because he stood next to some people or sat next to some people too closely. And that's sexual harassment if I ever heard it. And another time, he was talking to someone longer than they wanted to be him to be talking to them. So another clear example of sexual harassment. He made an apology, and I'll happily read it out to everyone. It says, and I quote, "Although I still do not know who these complainants are, I apologize to anyone who felt uncomfortable because I stood or sat too close or spoke with them more than they wished to talk with me." And, it's kind of good that he's taking a little bit of responsibility for his actions. I approve of that. But it made me reflect on my own life. Because sometimes I internalize my own impression that I face throughout a daily basis. And I want to bring two examples. One that I had the other day and another that I see happening a lot with children and sexual harassment. So I was on the bus the other day. And I sat down, I put my legs together so I wouldn't manspread, tried to take up as little space as possible like a good human being, and someone sat next to me. And, it's like 5 o'clock, everyone's getting home, and this person sat next to me, and they brushed my arm. And, that's how close they were sitting. That's sexual harassment. And I was too intimidated to really do anything about it because, can you imagine being in a situation where you're being sexually harassed? It's overwhelming. So I was just clutching my bag and my pearls and just couldn't know what to do. So eventually I got off the bus and I called 911, and hopefully they found the perp who did that to me. But I see this is also a big issue in our churches, talking about the sexual branch of sexual harassment we're talking about here. So one time I was at my cousin's baptism because my cousin's an idiot and he thinks it's okay to drown his children preemptively, but they don't die. But it seems pretty violent if you ask me. Probably wrongdoing, and it's probably sexual harassment too because they're naked. But then the priest came and started talking to me, and I was like, oh crap, now I gotta talk to this priest. I don't want to hear about his oppressive mumbo jumbo. And I just was sort of a little flustered by the fact that he was talking to me because he knew me as a child. And I think back to all the times in my childhood when he talked to me, or he would stand too close to me because I was a small guy, he'd have to bend over to speak with me and stuff like that. And I didn't want to speak to him. These priests are probably sexually harassing everyone out there. And it's all these children. I saw a bunch of children. He would talk to them, and they probably just wanted to go play Fortnite or something like that, and he was talking to them and wasting their time, and that's sexual harassment if I ever heard it. So we got to be more vigilant out there, and we got to call these perps out. In the era of Metoo, sexual harassment is unacceptable, and no one should be a victim of sexual harassment. So anytime, just like what the Canadians did with this MP here, we got to call out sexual harassment. Stop sitting too close to people and stop talking to them too long. If you can't pick up on social cues, then you shouldn't leave your house. That's really how it should be. Anyway, that's what I gotta say about that. Next week, I think we're going to talk about cultural appropriation because of that lady who thought it was appropriate to steal Chinese culture and wear it as a prom dress. To hell with her. But we're going to get to that in a different video.